This is Rich Crowe, a private land conservationist with the Missouri Department of Conservation. Thank you for joining me today for a short presentation called The Power of Pollinators. I'd like to talk about why pollinators are important to us and some practical ways to get pollinator habitat established on your own property. Now, it's been said that 1 out of every 3 bites of food that we consume are impacted by pollinators. Now, while most crops don't require animals to pollinate them, pollinators are necessary to achieve the size, form, and quantity that we expect from most of the produce that we consume. It's true that our staple foods tend to be dominated by grains like corn and wheat, which don't need animal pollination. But if you care about color and flavor and nutrition in your diet, then you should care about pollinators. Let's take soybeans, for example. Soybeans are self-pollinating, but having pollinator habitat nearby may help your soybean field run faster and jump higher. Now, there's probably some of you out there who've already checked out on me. You've already decided that, man, all I eat is meat, and I don't really like honey, so I don't really care about any of this. So I'm gonna think about something else. Man, I like to hunt. Wonder where I'm going to put my tree stand this fall. Or maybe you're thinking about that turkey that you killed back in the spring. Or maybe about mallards sailing into your decoys. Or maybe you're thinking about that quail that whistles in the fence line behind your house. What do all wildlife need, including the ones that we love to hunt? Plants. 90% of all flowering plants need pollination services. And all the wildlife that we love to hunt need habitat. And the best habitat is diverse plant communities. To paraphrase the famous conservationist John Muir, when you pull on one thread of nature, you find that it is connected to the rest of the world. That means that there's a lot of different plants out there, and some are designed to be pollinated by just a few species. So if we start dropping species of plants and pollinators here and there, eventually the ecosystem may start to unravel. Let's talk about bees for a little bit. Bees are really important. They take care of about 70% of all the pollinating. Bees are so much more effective at pollinating because they are visiting flowers for 2 resources and not just one. They are harvesting nectar to fuel the flight of the adults, but they're also collecting pollen to take back to the nest for the young to eat. European honeybees have been the powerhouse for pollinating crops in North America since the 1600s, but they are just one species of bee. There are around 4,000 species of bees native to North America, and 450 of them are right here in Missouri. So if we start losing wild bee species, we won't receive all the pollination services that we need. So don't forget about the wild bees. Here's an image showing why bees are such effective pollinators. They accidentally transfer a lot of pollen from flower to flower. Other pollinators just don't get quite as involved. So what's the big deal with monarchs if they don't do that much of the pollinating anyway? Well, monarchs are recognizable, so they're useful as indicators of the health of pollinators in general. If the butterflies are doing well, then other pollinators are probably also doing well. And if species of butterflies are dropping off the map, then bees and others are probably also suffering. Let's talk a little bit about how to get some pollinator habitat growing on your property. If you're a producer with acreage, consider putting a pollinator habitat in odd areas of your farm that maybe are hard to get equipment into, or maybe a portion of your homestead near your house or near your machine shed, someplace where you can enjoy the view and also reduce your maintenance mowing. And if you have ponds that are excluded from livestock, consider converting flat areas inside your pond fence to pollinator habitat. And if you live in town, consider using native plants for landscaping. Um, just make sure that that you make it look purposeful by including a raised garden bed or maybe a garden border of stone or landscape timbers. You can visit grownative.org to find retailers who will sell live native plants for putting into landscape beds. Um, you can also check out this great resource guide produced by the Missouri Prairie Foundation at grownative.org. And then this is an image of a native pollinator landscape on school property in the St. Louis area. They have some interpretive signage for telling the story about what's planted here, and this is a great resource for pollinators in the area. Making pollinator habitat can get expensive if you're doing a large area, but there are a variety of state and federal cost share opportunities that may be able to help. So contact your local private land conservationist to make a plan. Let's talk a little bit about how to get a site ready for making a pollinator habitat. Probably the best scenario for a new pollinator seeding is to seed into soybean stubble because years of farming takes care of a lot of the weedy competition that's going to be there. But if you're starting from an established grass field like this, then it is important to do some good site preparation. The first step is to kill all the existing grass with generally at least three applications of herbicide, usually a spring, summer, and fall application. Use a non-selective herbicide to make sure you kill the grass, and also include a broadleaf killer such as a 2,4-D to take care of clover and other broadleaves. If you just kill the grass, there's a good chance that you'll get an influx of red and white clover that are really competitive. At the time of doing your seeding, if you're broadcasting the seed, it is important that you have at least 50% exposed ground on the seed bed so that you can make sure that your seed makes good contact with the soil. So running a fire across the field shortly before you do the seeding is a great way to get rid of the dead thatch and create bare ground. I generally don't recommend that you till your site if you don't have to, because tilling tends to increase the risk of erosion and also will cause more weedy competition to come up during the first growing season. So the first growing season will be weedy. There'll be lots of ragweed and foxtail. So the key is to keep your plot mowed at a height of about 6 inches, and mow it every time the weeds get to be about 12 inches tall. Plan on mowing your field at least 3 times over the course of the first summer. In the second growing season, your plot will still be pretty woolly looking, but you'll probably start to see a few more blooms. Don't mow it the second growing season. Just leave it alone because you're wanting to accumulate some vegetation so that you can do your first prescribed burn. I generally recommend that you burn the plot for the first time during the dormant season following the second growing season. And once you start burning your plot, things should really start taking off. You'll start to see more species and more color in your field. And over time, your plot, if you manage it properly, can really become a real showpiece. Your local private land conservationist can help you come up with a plan for making the most out of your pollinator habitat. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to help the best I can. Also, you can contact your own local private land conservationist by either calling your USDA service center or you can visit the web page for the Missouri Department of Conservation. our staff are really great, and we'd be happy to help you out. I hope that this short talk inspires you, and I hope it encourages you to try a pollinator habitat on your own place. Thank you very much for tuning in.